I have a question to Mr. Keshe, if may I. Mr. Keshe.
He may be just a student right now.
He's in the background. Hi, Mr. Keshe. Good evening.
The mic is open, but we're not hearing. We're not hearing Mr. Keshe.
His volume is very low.
The mic is open. We're not hearing anything. Jalal, can you hear?
No, we cannot hear him.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but it's you are breaking a little bit.
A little stretched out.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you, Mr. Keshe. Now we cannot hear you, Mr. Keshe.
He's not speaking right yet. His microphone is open, but there's no activity there.
Can you hear me?
Now, yes.
Can I be heard?
Yes, Mr. Keshe, we can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Keshe. Before 2 days, someone asked me about the twin star. Anything new about that?
No.
Nothing.
We said what we had to say in teachings a long time ago.
I mean, you didn't see anything new, progress in that? Or you didn't have time to look?
I don't stargaze, unfortunately. Stargazing, I left it some times ago. Let me see if I can change my server to another one. Can you hear me now better?
You're very clear right now.
Okay, you're there. The twin star, what we discussed, stays the same, and it will be the same. It takes billions of years. It's not going to happen tomorrow. But you never know where that tomorrow will be.
In which time zone?
In a way, is it man's time zone or is it the universal time zone?
Yes, Mr. Keshe, thank you very much.
Mr. Keshe, this is Yvonne. Can you give us any update on how the people find the exhibition this week?
The exhibition is more or less by booking, and I think from tomorrow it'll become tougher. Austrian government has brought a new restriction in from Monday because they had a peak in Corona. But in general, we are usually by appointment. We don't get people off the street. And we had a target of certain presentations and certain ways to do things, and we are more or less on the target we are. You got to realize that the systems have not been turned on yet. The systems are just as seen. Once we go into the switch on and state of operation, it will be a different story.
And will we see soon in the media information about?
We are still, we don't want to say, but possibly yes. You got to understand Keshe Foundation is boycotted by Fox. So you'll never hear it on the mass media, impossibilities.
One of the reasons I ask this is because in one way I link this to the fact that the solutions for Corona will get out.
But this
quickly.
has been going on. But this has been going on for years. It's not just with Corona.
Yes, I realize the solution, the situation, Mr. Keshe. But to help the people with Corona, they need to find out that there is a solution. And once the media starts putting out more about the foundation, then people will learn more.
This is not just with Corona. We have broken across many taboos. And at the moment we sit and watch. We are not ready yet. We need a few more days to be ready that actually opening up. We are, as I said, this is an unusual exhibition where it's a live development, and we used to tell what we do, and people in this auditorium, these people who are listening to now, one of you is a spy, and one of you is a traitor. And they come and listen, and they go and do exactly what we say to stop. Someone in his group works for a pedophiles group. The numbers you see is one of you is well embedded. And we are watching it. And we open the hand of the second group of Alan Sterling, who are in this group. And we used to say what we do, and they used to go and take steps to make sure it doesn't happen. Now we don't say you can't do. As I said, I touched it last week in the teaching. The Alan Sterling group, we call it in Derek. They become active because we'll explain in the teaching how they operate and how they use their websites in false news or whatever to get people like you go and see what's happening. They pick up your IPs, and then they target your children and grandchildren. The facts about Keshe has become a second line of pedophiles. And the same, this is how Dirk set it up. This is how he was using the Keshe Foundation website to catch people with children. Anybody goes to facts about Keshe and Keshe victims, you leave a trail, you have children, grandchildren, watch. They take your IPs, they take your system. It's a new way.
I see.
So let more people go and watch and see how you see what happens and where.
How long before we can get these people out of the foundation? out fully?
They are embedded. You saw how they broke in through Caroline. They filtered in through her.
Well, it needs cleaning up. It needs cleaning up.
We don't need to clean up. Somebody in this group sitting here is a pedophile. And they come here to sit to see what we say, and they take it to put it on their facts about Keshe and to what they were victims, and people think they're going to see, but they're going there to give you ID. And that's how they did. This is why Dirk was working so hard to be the webmaster, because they could pick up the traffic. That's how his wiki worked. And now we open up the hand of this group in Germany. 4 or 5 pedophiles created a huge number of names, and they watch who comes to read.
Well, I hope that this can be sorted out very soon, Mr. Keshe.
And now we sorted. They're well embedded in ministers and in all lines of society. We are not losing. We are very, very much on the way we go, and nothing will change. We are developing our own ways. And in a way, the technology is going, what I wanted is going to the root. People are using it around the world in a very deep way. And now we have set up a new way in teaching, very much interactive teaching than just leaving it on Thursday or other teachings. I have started a direct interactive scientific line in Iran. And it's a very much the old forum pattern, but we're using the platform, specific platform, to teach directly to the scientists. And if it works the way we see it, then the conversations will be translated from Farsi into English. And it's a very, direct teaching. We started it in the past 48 hours. The head of Keshe Foundation wants it to be translated, all of it, because it's only Farsi, voice and recording. And we have started a new cycle of teaching. And if it goes, it brings the scientists, it brings the people who are in different fields of the technology to participate and enlighten how they see it and how we develop to the next steps. It's the way I enjoy teaching with people, amongst people, that they learn and they can participate. It's not just one way. They put a topic and we run 3 or 4 topics at the same time. Everybody's interested. People can cross line knowledge, and we'll see how we go. We're not putting any translators on it to create problems of translating and translating. It stays totally in Farsi at the moment, and then the group behind to transcribe it, that it can be translated. We'll see how it goes. This a young child. It's nearly got 2,500, 3,000 people on board. And we'll see how it goes. And if it works, we teach in that manner. We open it more public teaching that is not concentrated to one time, one place. But it's continuous 24 hours. And everyone participates.
Good. we need to look at new ways of doing things.
This is the way I enjoy it. I used to teach in forums, Keshe Foundation forums, and the forums became obsolete with the new media system. And now we use direct interactive system. And there are a number of people, everybody has a right, everybody participate in sharing knowledge. And it's very interesting. We'll watch it for the next few months. It started a couple of days ago. And all the specialists or people who have a knowledge in energy, they understand what happens in the plasma side. And it's a new way. Let's see how we do it. But the head of the foundation wants all of it to be translated. And we don't allow translation online because it gets 10 different languages. But as I said, we're strengthening it. We see how it goes. And then we use the base of the new teaching this way. And it's a very open teaching base. And I enjoy doing it because I see a lot of people are participating. They put their own in-depth. It's not just one-liners or something. It is, at the moment, if they stop writing, I can even tell you how many people are actually writing together in participating in the discussion. It's very interesting if we can carry this new way of teaching. It is not like here that one speaks, we put the topic and everybody discusses on their own topics. And it's something I spent a few hours yesterday setting it up. The Iranian public picked it up and it's getting added by hundreds every hour. And they're participating, they're actively write or read. And at the moment, there are 254 people online writing and reading, with 2,600 people who have joined it. It's a new public teaching and does not give time and place. Anybody likes to read it, comes in and discusses it. I picked that one person, put a topic on. And I expanded on it, and now the others are expanding it. I give them new insight to it, what will be. And 3 or 4 topics at the moment are running. Well, for example, one of the participants originally said, what happened when we break a magnet? Why the two end broken, they reject each other. And we went into depth of it, and I said, don't look at the matter state, look at the fields of the earth. Why that creates that condition of magnet for each part immediately. And now the discussion is, as I explained to them, I want to open their horizon to think different way. What happened with the magnet? It'll be a magnet when it goes beyond the Earth's atmosphere or beyond this solar system.
I remember in one teaching you said if you had a nano-coated magnet and it was cut in half and you gave it to your child, you would never be apart from that child. There'd always be that contact.
Yeah. But now is let's say if we make a system which is relying on magnets, and now we take it to another planet or solar system, would it be still a magnet in that environment? And would the system work? In a way, I'm trying to get the group to see a bigger picture of science than what has been narrow-minded to one that we can open the space technology. Now that we know the center of the Earth is not what we told, it's still core and new current flow, it's magnetic and becomes gravity, or what do you call it, magnetic field or whatever. Now it's all to do with plasma. Now I explain to them how the plasma is created, and I see beautiful writing from some of the scientists that are explaining, and they come up with very beautiful answers and solutions. And now we know the magnetic field of the Earth is a combination of the interaction of the plasmatic field. But how far this plasma will go? And as you've seen, we create new fields and new things. In the teaching to them yesterday, I painted out something very interesting. Maybe it'll be interesting in the teachings, we'll bring it up. If you look at let me just get something. I have to get the tool that I can share. What is common between this? This I don't have the English version, so you have to rely on the Farsi version of it. And this is the first book, The Creation of Matter. If we look at the creation of matter, where the fields come together, this is a book of theory, written 12 years ago in theoretical basis, that time. Now this is the reality of it. Now we have a system which confirms the work of this one, how matters are created. And when we switch the system on, and we can show it in public too, we done it in private, that how it produces and how it produces, then for the first time, the theory is governed by reality. When we understand this, it'll change the whole scenery. And you read about the dark matter, principal matter, or whatever to create the matter. In theory, you know exactly what happens. In practice, you get the material. Now we have a machine. We have a system which can prove the technology. This is where the press will line up to come in to see.
Will this machine produce materials that we don't know, though, in quantity?
Yes, we have set it up that way.
So we're going to have a new understanding of materials very shortly, with new elements added.
We have to understand we do not need to look in the tangibility of the matter the way we are used to. When we were testing in the factory, I explained to the knowledge seekers, there is a field in here, which is a field of the certain material. I can feel it, but it's not converting to the matter state. Because Earth gravitational field doesn't allow it. If you stand in this machine when it's running, and if you could be inside it, it'll be an amazing time.
So that means at the exhibition center later on, you will be able to produce these materials because you will have...
Not we will be, we are doing.
You've already created the
We-
environment then?
There is a process you got to understand. To produce materials, even one copper, takes millions of years of conversion. These systems are set to create that conversion in a rapid way. We don't explain, we don't talk how it is, and this is the center is going on the security of watching it and everything else. In the process, we will see a lot of things, and we will show what it was, the magic. These systems are under development, and they'll be developed further and further. And if you listen to the Wednesday, what they call it, Friday teaching in the Brazilian, it took us some hour or two to explain how we envisage this center. We are, I mean, you see what is there. We are redesigning the center. We are taking the permanent position in this exhibition center. Keshe Foundation, as of this month, we were planning to do a September show. We are going for 12-month show. The cost is colossal, but it allows us for a public to see. We are not looking at thousands of people. We don't need more than maybe 30 to 60 people a week. The whole purpose is not to show. The purpose is to educate. When you come in, each group which comes in by pre-appointed time is taken across the whole floor, line by line, item by item is explained. The knowledge is taught in depth, even for knowledge seekers. This is not a place you just walk in and look at things and go. Even knowledge seekers, there are usually 2, 3, 4 people. They go with a group, and the group are taught thoroughly. That it takes about 2 hours for a full cycle, and it has to be in the small groups. And as you have seen, this is a new way to teach. It's not a museum that you walk. It's going to be a group of 10 to 15 maximum, and they're taught step by step. Every line you see them, if I can go, they go to everything on it is explained. And people who come in, some knowledge seekers, some people for the first time, they're shocked by the knowledge. The Russian delegation was shocked. He says, your space technology is years ahead of us. And this is the way the knowledge has to be taught. Don't forget, amongst these people are buyers who ask to buy and they join. They want to buy the system, they've ordered it, they come to see it, and some people are already increasing their orders. And this is not a small investment. Each unit is $1 million, €1 million. Amongst these people are buyers, the people who are knowledge seekers or organizations who have come to invest. And they don't invest in 1 or 2 units. It's a different game. It's a different understanding of knowledge and technology. we got delegations from all over the world who would like to come and see. The problem is Corona, how we get visa for them. No American can come in, Canadians are, and the Mexicans are no-go.
You
So
can't hold special Zoom sessions for them?
for some buyers, we are doing that. The sessions, we have a special camera systems here. We organize the time. We had 1 or 2 up to now last week. That we zoom into, they can ask questions, they see things, and that's all we can do with them. And they make their decisions. You got to realize this exhibition needs to create a massive inflow of science into the society. We are looking at schools and universities in the next month or 2 to come in groups, small groups at the university level, at highly, educated levels from even major corporations to come in. My life is patience and I have time. And I didn't set this to be for a day or 2. And the place is chosen is perfect. And the dome is a dome of what we will see in the planetary system. Everything is the way I wanted it.
Well, I hope in the future we see lessons emanating from their teachings.
We don't tell anymore. We don't reveal anything, but we do. To protect people from these pedophiles. We have realized how they have come in, how they have infiltrated. So we do not talk. We just, they're faced with it and that's it. And then they have to find a way to do their way.
Well, I notice a few people are not around the foundation as they used to be, so that leaves question marks.
The biggest pedophiles came through Switzerland, and they came right into education systems. And we found out. And they target, so we are very careful how and who they are and what it is. We don't you will see the old hands very tight, people we trust holding on to the realm of the work of the foundation. We protect our knowledge seekers, and we saw how they infiltrated right deep, as I call, in the pillow talks. They were deep rooted, and now you will see the change.
Good.
But this exhibition is set to be a permanent. This is a permanent room, what they call it, platform for us. And every time we show a new technology, we use this auditorium. You got to see, if you look in the back, I don't know if you can see it. If I get a picture. Not just, I'll show you, let me see what. If you look deep into the pictures, you see a seated auditorium teaching room. And we have a, what we call, negotiation room in the background. It's well set. I don't know, I cannot see it. If you play the video, you're just about to see it. In the video, you're just about, you see maybe in one of these pictures, you can see it. If you look in the back end, you see the whiteboard here, and then the seated capacity here. And in back of the machine here, there's a negotiating corner, sofas, where the sofas set for negotiation at high levels. And you see the chairs, just about the dark chairs. We can accommodate, I think, about 25 people, which at the moment, with the environment we have, will be allowed by the government. You see the thing here, you clearly see the whiteboard. We are set to teach, and when the delegations come, we can explain online, on site. It's well organized, and if you, I don't know if you can see it, there is a desk somewhere here where we have a special camera that you can zoom even to the front of the building, right in. And when we negotiate, people wants to see the brand or technology, we take it through them. It's a very powerful system and stable. We can zoom into the machines, they can see everything. The whole auditorium will change in the next few weeks. Now that we have taken position on long term, we reinvest into presentation.
You're not showing any tests with reactors there.
No, you're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to. Okay.
No, we're not supposed to show anything.
But I think most of that you've got on video, so you can show people from before what has gone on in the past.
In a way, yes. I mean, if you, I think in the teachings we explained, if you look at some of the pictures, it's a lot of knowledge and a lot of understanding. And the I lost some of my pictures which was taken, and if you look at some of the pictures, for example, this one, as I explained before in the teachings, these gases are some 24 gases, some of them very rare gases you don't see in public. But
one question I had is, why are they so close together? I thought that the fields of one could influence the other.
It's been set that way to create a field flow, and we watch how people react when they go through it. They don't know what we know.
So it's deliberately set up that they're that close to each other to produce a result.
I have set it up. I watch people when people are in. I never very hardly participate. There are people who take people around and they explain the technology. I sit on the top and watch behavior, how people change, what bothers, what certain points people move. It's an interesting position.
You're just watching their body language or their facial features, or both?
A lot of things.
Or the aura they're giving off?
I don't look at the aura. I look at structure of what is and how it is.
I see.
There's a lot of skill and knowledge to gain. It's not just by drinking it. Once you drink it, you have to see how it reacts. Once you're in the environment of it, you got to see how it resembles, how does it show itself. As we said, the knowledge is a long road. If you're a knowledge seeker, you got a long way to go. This picture I put up is, I don't know if you've seen it. This is if you remember, we gave a page of the first page of the book 1, which was chosen. They found the verses in Quran, which explained what we said in book 1. This is the verse in Quran, which is the government wants it to be on the first page of the book number 2, which is going through publication, certification. And it's very simple. It says, Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. When people read the book to correct it and bring it to a standard, when in Quran, they found the verse, which means the light is the creator. And that's how we symbolize it, the knowledge.
Is there a similar verse like that in the Bible? Or you don't know?
Ask Vatican. Our book was originally translated, 3 books were translated into Farsi, was done very beautifully by Dr. Parviz with 2-3 different people that to make sure the translation is correct. At the same time, people who translated it understood our knowledge is not translated by word, it's translated by essence of the foundation. Then when we came to publish it, the Iranian leadership decided that this book is so important that it has to be in a perfect presentation. So they took it to the most leading Islamic school to be narrated or to be put exact wording that there is nothing wrong in publication. And in that process, the school, the university, lecturers who worked on it, they find the verses in Quran and they have found what they can read. And because most of them they know Quran inside out as Hafiz, they call them people who remember the whole of Quran. In their memory, go to the verse and just pick the verse in their brain and they come and say, this should be this verse, fits in what is being said. The publication of the Iranian, the Farsi versions is not in our hand. And even every word has gone through, every dot has been done to fit in, as the Iranian leadership has accepted this is a breakthrough, major technology, and it has to be correct from the beginning, that they don't need to go and correct the Persian version of it again. And each book has spent nearly 3-4 weeks on the hand of leading lecturers in university, going through every page. When they finish with it, they give it back to us. This is done now, it's authorized. And usually the book takes weeks to get permission in Iran because it's done by the leadership. The first day took us 3 days to get the license for it, to be able to print and publish. And by the order of the government, a copy has been registered and sealed and kept in Tehran, Iran Central Library, as a historical book, as a first publication. They already know the value of the technology. I think in next week, 10 days, we'll see another evolution There's small step in Iran with it that'll open up more.
And how is the situation in Iran now on the coronavirus? Are more hospitals?
It's disaster. It's
Dear.
disaster. And the
I was
government.
hoping you would give us good news there.
No, the problem is that a number of Iranian developers have now moved into Turkey. And now they start producing the materials away from the hand of the president in Turkey. 2 or 3 groups have used our technology or nanotechnology, GANs technology, and they're moving into Turkey. They start mass producing. You will see it very soon. But it's again, Keshe Foundation baseline technology. These are our knowledge seekers.
Well, it's sad that they were forced out to go to Turkey.
Because don't forget the core of Iran are Turks.
Oh, I see. It's a very strong association.
Yes. A lot of our food is Turkish based.
But that must leave the main group in Iran a little bit upset that they're not producing as much there and that they've moved to Turkey.
No, it's the way it is. The Iranian president has insight of his own work. So the whole nation has given up. It's got another 4 months and that's it. There's a new leadership and much closer with the people. Hopefully till they get to power as usual.
Well, I hope somebody honest is chosen.
Have you ever seen an honest politician?
There's always a first time. There's always a first time. We can hope.
Mr. Keshe?
I have a few years ago. I don't know if I've said to you somewhere or not. We were in Ghana and there was the election. And I met this huge lady, and I mean huge by size. And I knew what she was doing. I said, what are you doing? She says, I used to be, till 2 months ago or so, a ticket collector in London Underground. And now I put my money I earned from there, and I've become a member of the parliament in the Ghanaian's parliament. She said, now I want to get rich. Can you tell me how I can get rich quick? Which committees do I need to get into, and how much do I have to ask? A true politician.
That's sad. She should have tried to do something for her country.
It's a reality. It's a reality. Absolute reality. Most probably, if she gets bribed enough, she most probably get the seat as a consultant and advisor. As you've seen, this is the pattern of the work. Now, African leaders, many of them are at high level, coming from England, especially on the West Coast. And they're all low, absolutely people, working class, and the British support to go in and keep the nation down because they have no clue how to be. A doorman, a security man has become the head of the nation of Gambia from a superstore in London. The present president of the Gambia is a security man in a store in London. what do you expect? Where do you expect the nation to go if you got the doctors and the leaders educated in that level?
There are no people in the country themselves who have gone the ladder.
It's the way French and the British have run Africa. And they've enforced it with American forces.
Mr. Keshe?
Yes.
Can I ask you a question? Since we're post-corona now, what we're seeing now is a lot of psychosis and mania due to the pressure that governments are putting on the people. Can you recommend a protocol through the cups or something that can be added to help these people with the emotional problems that they're suffering? We're seeing it in a lot of children and in a lot of special needs adults that can't cope with the isolationism and the fear and anger that's being perpetuated on them. Is there anything that we can do to help those people?
You move away from one cup, one life into one drop, one life. You cover the body of the man. A drop once or twice a day on the body of the man. And that should give you a good answer.
You're breaking up, Mr. Keshe. We didn't hear what you said after the cups.
The top cup you drop on the forehead. Middle cup, second cup you use for the heart. And hello?
That was a little bit disjointed there, Mr. Keshe. I think you're going to have to repeat that. And thank you very, very much for answering my questions.
You're fading out.
Better.
We didn't hear anything at all, basically, Mr. Keshe. Are you
Yeah,
sharing?
I was switching servers. Can you hear me clear now?
Yes.
Is it better?
That's better. Yes.
Yeah, it's just you have to understand we are constantly on the things not to be heard. We see more and more of this unnecessary, but it's there. The best way to do is to use the cup number 1 on the forehead, cup number 2 on the heart, and cup number 3 on lower part of the body. And you can do it from the front and the back, a drop on each side. And you will see the changes slowly. And it just needs the elevation of the soul, the physicality, and the physical body, all three together. And it's a long term. These are long-term progresses that needs to be done.
Could I possibly ask you to draw on the whiteboard what you're specific, because we lose a lot of this information if we don't have a visual backup to it. Is that possible?
You want me to move to get a whiteboard? That's impossible.
Sorry.
Just wait one second. You gotta bear with me. I have to get the whiteboard.
Into the real work of the universe.
Oh, I moved it somewhere else. I have to get it. Just 1 second, please.
And Lissy, if you're here, I hope you can read your question to Mr. Keshe about these pesky pedophiles. I know Beatrice had her hand up for about 10 minutes, but I think she's left.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
As I call, bachelor life is different than a normal life, so you have to bear with me till I get everything out. It takes a couple of minutes till the screen comes up. The problem with the present corona is to create a psychological and financial problem at the same time. These are a long-term plan. So I have to switch to another one. They plan on a very, very long term. Why don't I have? Can somebody give me the number, please? What's the number of the meeting? Hello?
Yes, it's right in back of something that's blocking it, and I can't read it. I can get it in a minute.
Stop the share. Stop the share.
Just read the number, please. I'll be there.
9597129.
959. Sorry, 95. Start again. 959.
7129.
Yeah.
3280.
959. 959.
Yes.
712.
Yeah. 93020.
It's in the chat.
93280.
80.
959-712-93280 is what's in the chat.
9380. We'll see if we can come in. It said invalid meeting number. Let me see the chat. Where's the chat? Chat.
959-712-93280.
9.
That is correct. I just checked.
3280. Yes, we're in. Yes. I have to go and do something else, somewhere else to come back.
Who's sharing the screen currently?
I can share. I have not a problem with it. Just coming in. Just wait.
I see Beatrice is back, and maybe after Mr. Keshe finishes this answer, he can take Beatrice's question, and then Lissy, if she's still with us.
We. Can you hear me now?
Your first
Yes.
words were muffled. Your last words were clear.
Hello. Okay, let's see. You see, it's a problem. I cannot come here and be a student. I come here to be a student, but it doesn't work. We have the head of the man. You have a heart, and you have the, what I call, my God, I get worse every day. You have the body of the man, the arm and leg. You put a drop, number 1, drop number 2, and drop on number 3. Back and the front. Even you can do 2 drops on the back, 1 in the side, 1 drop in the middle, in the front. 1 drop on life. You change. It takes time. You elevate the soul of the man, you elevate the soul of physicality, and you elevate the physicality itself. You take the guns from the center of each cup. We are doing a beautiful experiment in Iran. Now we are nearly 6 months into it, to show psychological changes using the technology. And this is done in cooperation with the officials. And we are watching, totally watching, 100 handicapped children, totally handicapped, mentally retarded, majority of them. And we have taken 4 children out of this group to be receiving a slightly special treatment, but we are treating the whole 100 in a specific way. And the first signs we've seen, the report of the 5th month just came out 2 or 3 days ago. I was listening and reading it. One of the first things psychological we can show the technology works is self-awareness. Self-awareness means what happens to your own body, how you react towards the physical appearance and everything of the body. What has happened interesting is this organization has been going for a long, long time. And their job is just to look after 100 handicapped children. That's all they can keep, mentally retarded. And they have everything of this before we come in. We ask to be recorded. What this means is, I cannot get my hand on this. What's happened here? Somebody has raised hand and I cannot get it out. Doesn't matter. What happened is that we monitored everything of these children, everything. From the amount of food they eat, don't forget they're all mentally handicapped. They use Pampers, all of them. And how everything they eat, they drink, everything has been recorded before we go in. It's watched by a team of doctors and scientists and psychologists. And we created a specific environment in this orphanage. And we specifically designed how the waters can be used, how we give the gases, the way we want to use the gases. And we said we give it 6 to 12 months and see how they change. One of the most interesting things is, for the first time, the use of diapers has dropped by over 50% in the life of the orphanage. Children all become aware. And we expect to drop to less than 10% in the next 3 to 6 months of children who use diapers. Some of them are 10 years old. They use diapers from the day they came in as a baby. And now for the first time, they don't. And we are watching this because it's a well-known handicap, mentally retarded center. And they see the children have a start learning right across. They have noticed that the behavior has changed. The Noise and everything in the nursery has totally shut down. It's the first time we are doing such a large scale monitoring. For us, it's important because we want to see what combination of answers we need for space travel. This is why I go to Iran. Iranian authorities have given me a free hand to do things which in the West is impossible. And now we're in the 6th month, or we entered the 6th month. And the biggest notice for them is self-awareness. Children don't want to wet themselves anymore. They want to be respectful. They want to be counted. And in next 3 months to 6 months, we start educating them. Totally mentally retarded people start learning to be educated. Total cost for us for 100 is less than $50 a week. And the same thing, why I explain this is that we have the same proposition with the society now. They targeting people to the point that they yield to everything. Job insecurity, shortage of money, everything else. You give it, we give you. And a lot of people are not happy with the situation, the way the Keshe Foundation is bringing out. We will monitor this nursery for 3 to 5 years with authorities. And we expect the way we are going, a large number of these children will join the society without any mental defect. I've developed a new gas mixture for them, and it's working. Can we do the same with the rest of the population? Can we take this to the prisons? Can we take it to mental institutes? The answer is yes. The process has to be understood, and at the same time, instead of running larger scale, we take what is large and we scale it up to the use of the technology. In the coming weeks, we will do much bigger scale of operation in other fields. And we'll see how it brings, how it will change.
Mr. Keshe, could I ask you to clarify which cup, because the numbers have changed since the one drop. Is the cup
No, nothing has changed. 1, 2, and 3.
But is cup 1 the cup of soul?
Yes.
And cup 2 is the cup of soul of the physicality?
Yes.
And then cup 3, and the cup 3 is the cup of physicality.
Yeah.
No, I just meant that originally cup 1 was where cup 2 is now.
No,
That's why.
No. We are talking about different system. We're talking about the 5-cup system. 5-cup system is very clear for animals. 1 is the soul, 2 is the soul of physicality, 3 is the physicality, 4th is inertia, and 5th is the gravity. Very, very clear. There is no changes.
But in this instant, does the same apply?
To what?
That's why I'm confused. Could you draw the cup next to each number? to clarify?
Difference between the cup of life 1, cup of life 2, is 2 and 3 for system of 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You don't.
But isn't it the occurrence that we don't get GANs in cup 1?
You see, this is the problem I explained from the beginning. You're so physical. I don't see it, it doesn't exist. Just pack it up, don't do it. If you set the other way with the plants, you get nothing in the cup middle. Number 3, the soul has no physicality. It's energy level. You have to see to take it. You think it has to be something in there. We showed you when you take the cup, put a cup underneath. This is where you need to take your material from. In development, when you come to the center, you will see people pay observation, be observant. We don't have just one. Use the long boxes. Let me do it this way. I was never good in technical drawing, but somehow I managed to get a degree for it. We get this here, nano-coated copper. We have the nano-coated iron, and we have a nano-coated zinc. This is gravitational field for these elements, which is part of the body of man. What is interesting, we are getting a creamish, yellowish, or brownish cans, but underneath only of the iron, we get drops like this in all our system, all 3 systems. Very interesting if you understand what it means. Never seen it in any of our productions. And we have 3 sets, and all 3 sets exactly have that. I called the knowledge seekers. I said, have a look. Because the inertia, this is what we call magnetic field iron. And it's just right under each iron, nowhere else. This is why we encourage people, environmental enhancers, gases in the house, in appropriate way, and everything else. And the people who work against the foundation are trying to distract and destroy and everything else. They start putting rumors out that when you put the gases on yourself, you attract the fields and it's more damaging. We wrote the script, sent to them to read it in their teaching before they teach it. One of the last teachings of one of the teachers, which has never been and never be published, has been sealed in the archives of the Keshe Foundation. We read the manual before they go on teaching. And one of the part of it was you don't put GANs on it, we put the GANs of cup of life. It attracts you, and that's why you get corona and the rest. Those of you who were present in that teaching, we knew while we were waiting for it were to come. You got to understand how to use the technology and be aware of how people put it across to suit themselves. And those who took the mixture, they spoke the truth of their own lies. One day I'll teach you what these ganses and these cups can do. There's a specific mixture of ganses that makes you to confess. I don't need to do anything. And it's on the table which I showed you with 24 ganses. One drop opens the solar physicality and the truth will set.
Mr. Keshe, this is Ed from Indiana. Those ganses that you have, those 24 ganses at the exhibition center, you said you watched closely how people respond. Does the way they respond to those ganses, which you purposefully set up, does it indicate like maybe their receptiveness or their adherence to the technology?
Those are the ones who have not, it explains a lot. It's a lot of things, especially we see the behavior on the third row. The way the exhibition is set is this way. You enter, you have the reception, and then you have with the round tables for it. And the same on this side as you've seen it. We are interested, and then you have the two enhancement machines here, an education panel there, and a negotiation table there. And the registration is over here, and your product sales is here. The first thing we show is, and you have monitors on the end of each, that we can see what is the technology on that row. And then we have the banners. The people, most of 90% of people are not interested in the first row, which is the space reactors, because they don't understand. Then we show the nanomaterial, then we show the gases you see, and then is the application of the gases. The behavior starts changing from somewhere here. As they go that way, we see people walk sideways. People get agitated because part of the teaching here is being around this 24, and you see discomfort, dishonesty. From here to here takes about an hour. They spend about an hour, 45 minutes here. And then this takes less than 20 minutes. The cup of life is here. You have the energy unit. You have the environmental. You have the farming. I watched this one. And how especially behave in this area. We usually see women splitting up here. And some of the men who have a female behavior. It's a lot of knowledge you have to learn.
I remember you once taught us in so many words that the teaching of the science, the new science that you've been doing for years, is I think I remember you used the words the dividing line for humanity.
The teaching is accepting a new way of life. And the teaching brings a lot of self-awareness. It brings a lot of subconscious self-awareness and a lot of trust in one's belief. As we just heard, our friend said, there's nothing cup number one. But if you give me the cup number one, I can make human beings from it for you. I need cup one to confirm the existence of everything else below it. But man of physicality wants to see here. Give me a drop from this cup and make you a man. But I make the cup, not your cup. You remember, if you go back a few months ago, I said and I explained, soon I will show I drop one drop in the fish tank and you'll get the fish. You remember? Does any of you remember that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. We are in that position. Very soon, sooner than you can think, I will show this magic. And I'll do it in public. I'll create a child with one drop. Don't forget, a child came from one drop. Now, we show the beauty of the knowledge. Now, maybe you understand why I call it one drop, one life. With one drop, I create life. You look at it as one drop and where I put it.
Mr.
But
Keshe?
what will be the response of people to that, Mr. Keshe?
Okay.
There'll be a difference
cares?
between people and how they respond.
Who cares?
No, I'm not saying I don't care either, but some people are going to see that and be agitated by it, just
Who
like
cares?
at.
Who cares?
Okay, of course, who cares? But it's just like your table. You watch and you see how they respond, right?
I don't. This is irrelevant. This shows the power of Creator. We are there to show magic.
You put a smile on my face, Mr. Keshe.
You'll be smiling for a very long time.
For me, Mr. Keshe, I've already done that and shown it, and I'm trying to work. I'm not stuck in the physicality, but I was just in the context of helping other people. I can't figure out how it was done. I'm learning how it was done, but I can't figure out how to put that into an application. That's why I asked you about to help the people with the psychological problems.
First of all, you shouldn't have a psychological problem before you touch it yourself. To give it
I
to
don't.
somebody else.
I don't.
So we hope so. We hope so. And secondly, is got to be accepted by the receiver.
Yes, I realize that because you've said that, like with the twinities, we see the imperfection, but they don't. It's our perception. not there. They could be wholly perceived as totally at peace with who they are. It's how we've used the twinities, and that's what.
Have you ever seen a man with one finger missing? We see the finger missing, but he's not aware of it himself because he's got used to it. To him, his functionality is there. He lives with 4, but to us is 1 missing. It's the same with everybody else, the same way. In essence, in the coming weeks, I will show the creation of a man from a drop.
Mr. Keshe, where does the soul come in? And is
Oh
the
my
soul?
God! Oh my God!
Yeah.
Leave that to me.
Fine.
Leave
But
that to me.
there
It
was
means
another.
you never. It means you did not understand. So leave it.
No, there's one thing I wanted to get clear. Are all souls originated at the beginning of the universe, or do they spontaneously appear?
They appear according to the mixture.
Fine.
There's a mixture of the fields.
So, Mr. Keshe, let me put it to you this way. If it was your son that was suffering from the psychological pressures of this whole situation, you have the ability to do and help him. That's what I'm trying to gain that knowledge.
That is my job, not yours to do.
But if it's my son, that's what I'm trying to learn. How I can help my son.
You have to understand the technology. My son has been hijacked and kidnapped. I haven't seen him for 3 months by the mother. I don't know if he's alive or dead. That's the mentality of the Belgians. So don't ask me that question.
Mr. Keshe, you had mentioned previously, if you have the cranium of an empty cranium, you could rebuild the body of that person, but it wouldn't have the same soul it had eventually.
Yes, it will.
It will, or it will create the body?
Of course it will.
It will bring back the soul, or the original soul.
Yes. Not the original soul, the fields of the original soul, the behavior of the physicality.
Mr. Keshe, is Toppoli with you?
I have nothing.
I'm very sorry.
The Belgians have stolen everything.
I'm
They
very
have
sorry.
no heart, they have no root, they have no soul.
Extremely sorry, Mr. Keshe.
But you have us. We're your family, Mr. Keshe.
It's okay. You thought you were dealing with an angel, but the most ruthless people in the world. They're nothing but prostitutes and child abusers. Any other question?
Mr. Keshe, it's Peggy. I do have a question. How do I restore my faith?
In what?
These things that you bring up, and you know how close I became. And I gave all my my heart and soul to both of you.
The thing is,
And to be
these
blindsided
are
like this and to allow it to go on. How do I regain my
we
trust?
these are tests for us. These are tests for us and the strength of our soul. And in so many ways, till we are not tested, we don't know our own strength. When I explained to you that there was a plan to hijack the Keshe Foundation, now you understand maybe part of it. We haven't disclosed all of it. We haven't disclosed 99% of it.
Mr. Keshe, you sit here today and you tell us that there's someone in the room with us who is a pedophile. For those of us who have lived that torture, you are basically saying that we are sitting in the room with a rapist and it's okay. And that's not okay with me, Mr. Keshe.
No, you have to understand we are here to trust our own soul. They sit in every Thursday teaching, Tuesday teaching, and Monday teaching, and every channel they teach. We teach, they sit, they come, different ways. The job of us is to have trust, and at the same time, we put structure for their work in the background. It took me, 6 months, a year, to bring Alan Sterling into his position. It took 6 years, or 8 years, to bring Dirk in his position. They live across the society. If you want to lock yourself up, do not go to church, do not pass a mosque, do not go to a synagogue, don't pass half of the schools.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Many of the internet chat shows, many of the present television programs, you watch anything you're watching a national program are keyed that way for them, coded messages. These people are very strong operating from the policeman to the king and down to the layman on the street. Alan Sterling
Yes,
was
Mr.
saying,
Keshe.
Alan Sterling, when came to Belgium to come to the opening, he invited himself, was staying with Dirk. We found out the extent of infiltration by Dirk after we came to Italy, and then our second webmaster. They have, as you know, in Austria, 2003, 2004, 95% of the people used to go to church every Sunday. After the Second World War, they made sure they go back and, in a way, repent and come close to God or whatever. And in 2005 till now, maybe 3 to 5% ever go to church because the fathers were pedophile and they abandoned. A whole nation. Any other question?
Could we hear from Beatrice, please, and then Lissy?
Maybe she didn't hear. Beatrice?
Okay, let's go to Lissy. She had put... Oh, go ahead.
Can you help? I am here. I want a question.
Go right ahead.
What is the What is the emotional experience? It's like knowing that there is a rose, but who touched this? It and has the experience, the physical body or my soul?
It's an interaction. You gotta switch one of the units off or your microphone. The emotion is an interaction between the soul of physicality and the soul of the man. It's like when you have the sun and you have the earth, the interaction of their fields in the space of the gap is light. The light enlightens you. So is the soul of the physicality and the soul of the man. When they interact in the brain of the man, they bring enlightenment. That enlightenment we call emotion. And each strength, different strength interaction, we call it sadness, happiness, or whatever. There's no difference. Emotion is enlightenment, and it has to come from interaction of two fields. And that's the simplest way to explain it. It's exactly the same.
Okay, Mr. Keshe, I thank you. About another question. What is the difference in What is the most feels emotional in our life?
Love. When you give. There is nothing more powerful than love.
Okay, Mr. Keshe, I thank you. The feels no determine our life.
Pardon? Can you explain?
Perhaps John can help.
Okay,
¿Lo quiere decir en español?
Que si las emociones, o sea, hay campos que rigen las emociones de nuestra vida.
Are there fields that control our emotions?
Yes. It depends on the strength of what you carry in your blood and what your cells are made of. Their fields control your emotion. We get touched, we feel love. We get kissed, we feel love. We show our physical interaction with what we call love, but love to each one of us has a different meaning. Some of us see love as a reaction, physical reaction to any kind of emotion, and some of us see love in a kiss, a flower. And some of us look for what we don't have in the dimension of creation to replace it with it. But you could feel the love by a touch to your knee, or with a rose, or with whatever. The physical dimension does not carry the true essence of the emotion of love. And this is a lot of confusion with a lot of people. And if you are well educated in understanding how to allow your emotion and physicality to be separate, you don't need that kind of emotion. This is why we get rapists and we get people who do all sorts of things they misunderstand. The wisdom of a man comes from control of his emotion in physical dimension. And the more you understand it, the less you need to control it, because it controls itself through the soul. This is where the society and the understanding of a physical life has gone to the dogs. What if you understand what it means in English? We see, we touch, we get arousement, and we make love, and that's it. We see, that's it. If you can go to the state of understanding the emotion and the physicality come to the last point, then you're matured. Then you can love, truly loving, and in that line of life. But that's why the society at the moment is tumbling. As they said in 1960s, sex, drug, and rock and roll. No attachment, no feeling, just behavior of animals. A touch, a feeling has to be tasted by the soul. Then, if need be, you can add the physicality to it. A man needs a long time to understand this. Then you control your emotions. And in so many ways, you stay detached. Then you enjoy the beauty of your partner. And you enjoy the real essence of it than the physical, interaction of it. And earlier we teach this to our children. The more stable relationship, deep relationships we establish, we will not see so much crime, we will not see so much what we call misbehaviors. Mankind has to learn to love through the soul. Then the physicality has no dimension. But at the moment, we measure everything through physicality. I learned this very early in the stages of my life. And that's why you get blinded by the physicality, because it's irrelevant.
Lissy has two questions in the. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you.
excuse me for that. Lissy has two questions in the chat she asked me to read. Can you use the drops from the 5 cups of someone other than the family? Because I will do the experiment with my daughter and communicate the progress. Thanks for all the love. I would assume that's a yes. The other
You can
question,
do what you like.
okay, the other question she put in the chat earlier was from Lissy. Thanks for all the love. In previous workshops, NIS explained that they had started talks with Israel. Now Trump appears nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for the conversations between Arabs and Israelis. They also say that he has total control of 99% of the world for advancing the global capture of pedophiles. Listen to lectures from 2 or 3 years ago where you denounced your investigations into these pedophiles. What happened? I don't know if that question is quite clear, but I read it.
Trump has done everything on any excuse to get the Nobel Prize. He's more or less one of the only American presidents in the recent past who has not received one. Anything, if he can save a dog from the street to get the Nobel Prize, he'll do it, even if he is running it himself over. But his days are numbered. How many days left for him to be in administration? 6th of November, you go for, what's the date of elections?
I think it's usually November 2nd or 4th, and then the transition happens.
Yeah, but the transitions have no power that time of transition. So he's got more or less another 50 days. And from what we hear, every apparatus to cheat the system has gone into full operation.
You had originally said that his Peace Prize sits in Tehran.
Yes, he didn't want to make the trip. He did not want to make the trip. Was latest 3 months ago, or maybe even sooner, we spoke to the Chief of Staff directly. You see, if he speaks to Iran, get peace, his daughter will be divorced. The family he's married his daughter into, they're selling most of the arms to Saudi Arabia. This is what I was explaining in the Farsi teaching into the Iranian security people. And actually today I received more information how what I said, they were trying to confirm that the securities have actually confirmed what I said in so many ways. It took them 10 years after he's gone to find out what I told them for the past 2 years. Ahmadinejad is a Jewish guy. And every time he went on the podium in United Nations, swearing and shouting at the Jews, we're going to wipe out the state of Israel. Before he gets out, billions of dollars were put in his account for the commission on the arms they sold. No one sold more arms for American than the Israelis than Ahmadinejad. And he collected all his commissions in his family accounts in Tel Aviv. And now, as early as past few hours, the Armenian authorities confirm I'm correct in so many ways about his administration. I'll not be surprised if he will not be captured very soon. two of his top men have already been imprisoned for life. You know, the olden way where the king used to give their daughters to buy peace with others or whatever they wanted. It's the same way he sold his daughter to become a president and to serve them. Nothing has changed. Abuse of female. I was explaining before, and I explained yesterday, I was explaining to the head of the Keshe Foundation in China that the head of the two heads of the Keshe Foundation, the two ladies, one is present with us here now. We'll see the same pattern in the United States, hopefully in the coming time, if the cheating of the administration does not go beyond. We will see two women heading the United States, and this will follow. We will see the first one of the first, more or less, not first, but the CPC leaders as women in China. And it's time for handing over for men and change the war into peace. Don't forget one of the worst killings done by women in the history of man. But the time has come to change. If you go back to some of the teachings and recordings from early on, I always said the next, what do you call, like prophet or the one who will come as part of the creator will be a woman. And soon you will witness it. Very soon. Any other question?
Mr. Keshe, this is Alex again. Do we still have a bill outstanding for Fukushima?
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, can you repeat, please?
The president of Japan, or prime minister of Japan, is resigning in a few days. And do we still have an outstanding invoice for Fukushima?
You remember the old song? The child went to the mom and says, for cleaning my bed, $1. For polishing my shoes, $2. And said, my total bill is something like $9. And the mother took and said, for looking after you whole night, no charge. For loving you, no charge. For changing your pampers, no charge. Because it's from the love. And so we have no charge on Japan. We gave it with the love of the nation and humanity.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. When the Japanese came in with the first bottles of water to Desensano, we still got the bottles. Actually, no, we don't have the bottles because we had to call the Italian Nuclear Center and fire brigade to come and dispose of it. When they came to the Sensano, there were no hopes of solution. When they saw the first processes, they came back again. And they brought more waters, and then they brought the sewage waters. And we gave them everything. Even some of the materials had to be made because they couldn't stay. And the whole structure changed the condition of Fukushima within days, within weeks. But they could not thank Iranian nuclear physicists in helping. The time and the history will open up. Very soon I'll return to Iran to take a new position which will help the change in leading the world to knowledge and not politics. I have accepted a position which soon will be disclosed in the coming months. And I have received the full support to take the position. That we allow the knowledge to rule technology, not the guns and politicians. And this is one of the reasons that I explained we start a new way of teaching in Iran. It's laying the foundation for that change. To be able to change the course of humanity, you have to lead from the front. And we have started. And I have a beautiful partner who will stand and bring it up as the Keshe Foundation. Any other question? No more questions.
Mr. Keshe, regarding the sales team, when are we having our meeting?
Pardon?
This is like
Yes.
regarding the sales team, when are we having our meeting?
That's not in my hand. I don't run that kind of the operation of the foundation. It has to be done with the people who are in concern with it. Any other question?
Mr. Keshe, hi, it's Dean here from the UK. Can I ask a question regarding when you read the 99 names of God? God has many different faces. There's many different aspects to God. When you interact with the souls, do they show all these faces to you?
Somebody said, I can't see the soul, so I cannot do anything about it. Depends what you feel and what you talk as a soul. It's the essence of emotion and feeling. And each one you see different. It's like your breeze. You feel the breeze. If it's, you say this is a same breeze, but it's like a spring breeze. It smells like a spring coming. Or when you do autumn, you smell, it says the autumn breeze. It's the motion of the wind. It's the motion of what they interact, their soul with yours. If you really want to understand it, as I explained in the past couple of weeks, hold different gases in your hand and change the mixture of gases in the bottle, 20%, 50%, and see how you feel it, how you taste it, what does it make to you. And the combination of them, what does it do to you? And that is exactly how you see the soul, because you feel the soul of the bottle, because its energy is transparent.
Mr. Keshe, so if we're all walking GANs, and you spoke earlier about the souls that are taking positions in politicians and governments and things. So those souls that are just normal people from working class people, can we, if there was a working class person that had the knowledge and just wanted to give, surely this would make a big difference to the whole political game.
You are very British, and you think very British. In so many ways, you remember in England, we used to say in 1970s that the police doesn't do any crime. They're all beautiful people. Where did that go?
Down the drain.
It was down the drain before he starts. It was already in the drain. He never went down it. The structure of people does not come by their position of being layman or educated. It comes by the essence of the soul, what they promise, what they hold on to. You give a promise by a soul, you break. It'll break your physicality beyond. You give a promise by physicality, is you that you have to stand the rest of it. In the history of the universe, no one who has broken a promise of a soul has ever existed. We don't even know where their souls are. And in the dimension of physicality, we do a lot. I gave one promise, and I kept my promise. I'll educate man to peace and enter into universal community. And that has been held and will be held. The rest are the tools to get to that point. Plus, the rest are the positions to get to that position. many souls around or come around. They're there by destiny after agreement to achieve peace. It's not one man. Many souls have operated, even the time and the second they appear, or they get involved and disappear. That was their job. They were born to parents and mothers and educated, went to school or whatever, to be there in that window of time. Because that's what the soul agreed to do. So, as I always say, we are actors playing a written script. But the only person who has read the script is our souls. And the physicality just follows.
Mr. Keshe, if the script is already written, why are we playing?
What are you going to do, sit and cry?
No.
So at least keeps you busy, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Carlos would like to ask the most beautiful guy on the planet a question. Of course, he's not a guy. He's something else in the clothes of a man. Carlos, can you open your mic?
There is a question in the chat for Mr. Keshe. Can you read it, Mark, please?
Which one? If you see it, go ahead, Jalal.
From Lisi.
He's already answered this question.
She asked about the serenity in the cups because her child have Rett syndrome.
You see, a lot of people look for everything in the cups. But you got to understand why that position and illness has come. I explained that before in the other teaching. What's the purpose? What is the position? The cups are not answer to everything. And once is made, especially these kind of things are very difficult to return. But it needs understanding of the technology, understanding of the knowledge of the technology. In a way, if you look at it, I put the knowledge, my knowledge, in these systems, the enhancement unit. We call it the enhancement unit. But it's a collection of the knowledge of the universe in them. When you, at the moment, the units all going to be automatically filled up, preset. But these two units in the exhibition are built with the essence of my soul, the knowledge of the universe. And that's why I said it'll never be repeated again. It carries the essence of peace and the soul of the head of the Keshe Foundation within it. And that's why it was said to be. It's a combination of two souls to bring peace. We both believe in it, and it's the ethos we stand by. And when you go in these machines, in essence, you don't even need to be in the machine. And in the process, you will find peace. And if there is a change to come, they will come. Because the soul has to accept it. In so many ways, when we say we are actors in this process of a history written format, everything to the fine dot and the T has been crossed. Till it's not done, the next step does not start. And always said, we come here to enjoy the love of physicality in the soul of the creation. But you have to find the one who gives you that love and that soul to be able to enjoy. And it's the same across the universe. When you reach and find that soul, which is destined, you'll complete the cycle. And the next cycle starts. And you have to ask yourself why you have these kind of, whatever we call them, syndromes, or why. What is the purpose of the soul to manifest itself in that form? And what we do comes back to it and the way it is. Why some of us have a big, broad blue eyes, and some of us have very tiny brown eyes, and some of us have a long teeth, and some of us very short teeth. What purpose does it create, and what is there to be attracted by to complete the whatever the soul needs?
I got a question, Mr. Keshe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cup 1 and cup 2, I have a lot of salt residue, and I remember you said we could use that for something. What is the application for that, for those salts that we got from those cup 1 and 2?
You need, that was the time with Corona that we said use the salt for from cup number 1 with against of cup number 2 for disinfection as antibiotic.
I'm talking about those crystallized salts.
Yes, yes. When you put it in the gans, it dissolves. But it's a gans salt, which is much, much powerful than a normal salt. The gans salt carries certain amount of amino acid of the salt itself, because salt even has amino acid, and that's what you needed. Are we going to carry on being taught? Who's going to teach us now?
Mr. Keshe, I want to thank you for being here today. I want to thank Ella. I want to thank all the people.
Thank you very much. I'll become a backseater and listen.
Well, actually, that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you. Are there going to be universal body enhancement two-seaters?
There's no plan for such a thing. You don't want to give one's disease to the other one, I presume. The structure like body enhancement unit has been designed for a space travel. The two systems, one of them is loaded for flight. The one of the two systems, when I loaded them, I've loaded it for flight condition, but there is a condition to it to fly, and it's everything is so in front of you or public that you don't see it. This is one of the ways I always worked. I put it so in front that they don't see it. They see it, but they don't understand it or they don't want to accept it. And this is the way I've always been in my life. I never hide things. I hate hiding because then I don't remember where I put it, so it's really gone. My philosophy as well always been, don't do it, and if you do it, don't be afraid of it, so don't hide it. And even in my business life, I had no drawers, nothing on my desk, because if I put it there, I had to hide it. I don't do it. And now, what I hate, I've been given a drawer and I have to put things in, I hate it, so I try to get rid of it, to leave it open, because there's no use hiding anything. Put it in the front. If it's there, it's going to be there, it stays there. And the flight system is right in front of you. A fool, what has been the dream of the man to fly with, and the speed beyond imagination is there. And when I was loading it with the most beautiful soul in the universe, it is amazing how the knowledge of the loading was transferred into it. I could see it. And one of the things I never used to do, I don't do it, not never, is these kind of units has to be loaded independent from the developer, because it carries the essence of the knowledge within it. Is not the material which carries it. When I made this loading sequence for the systems, one system has been loaded to fly. So, and it can take about 6 people. 6 people can stand in that dome. The reason is 6, the way it's done, is the distance of the souls, not the space of the chairs. If you want a spare seat, the seats are more expensive than the system. if you do it the right way, you will see it, you will receive it. And the systems have been done the right way. Then they will show themselves exactly the time they have to. Not a second before, not a second later. If we have any Austrian, we'll announce it on Tuesday. We open teaching for Thursday morning in the auditorium of the exhibition center. If you want to be present, you have to register. And this week teaching, this Thursday teaching will be live in the auditorium in the exhibition center. If any of you wants to fly in and be part of it, join us. There is a reason for it. When a thing needs to be done, doesn't matter what we say in English. Say, even if the crows have to bring it, they bring it and they drop it. A lot of things was tried to be stopped, and it found itself its way to come in and to be done. And you never know, you might get more than what you bargained for when you're in the center. Any other question? What's the time? My God, it's already 11 o'clock.
Thank you again for that beautiful answer, and I thank you all for attending. All around the world, peace all around the world. Thank you so much, and thank you for allowing me to present today. Peggy, thank you
very much.
Ella, Mark,
Andres,
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming, Mr. Keshe. Thank you, Ella. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Mark. I do want to remind everybody that tomorrow, Monday, the 14th, at 8 p.m. Central European time, or 11 a.m. Pacific time, we will be having the monthly testimonial meeting. So if you all would please come and share your experiences, that would be lovely. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I thought this is the monthly cycle.
While you're there, can I ask a question? Because I see a lot of you here who used to be on a Wednesday's time teaching. Would you still like to carry on with that Wednesday chat?
You know what's nice, Mr. Keshe? And we started doing it since we've been on break. We used to have on Thursdays, after your meeting, we would have a get together and we would go as a group through each week's Knowledge Seekers workshop right afterwards. And then, of course, this school year, we stopped doing that in our schedules. But since we've been on break, a group of us have been doing that again. I would love to see that come back. And yeah, a small 2-hour class that we could have just interactions and discuss what we're all doing, coming together, so to speak, because with the groups that we're in now, we all don't really get together the same and learn together as a large group. So that may be very nice. Thank you.
It's something which I was discussing with the head of the Keshe Foundation, that maybe we keep the Wednesday afternoon sessions at 5 o'clock open for those who want to carry on with that, what I call a small, grannies classes, I call it, the chit chat. But it brings some comfort and some pleasure to some of you. And if you want to keep that going, we keep it open from next week when the classes open up.
Mr. Keshe, are the public teachings in Farsi open to everyone or just within the country?
The public teaching is done by Az's sister, Dr. Hassan, every Monday at 6:30, which they go over the Thursday teaching. And then the union people, whatever questions they have or what they developed or what they want to know, they discuss. It's like the Brazilian, it's like, what do you call, the Germans used to do it, I think. Hassan goes through the teaching of Thursday. He translates more or less word by word the parts he decides to do. Sometimes too long, and then people can ask questions or bring what they've done or what development, or ask all sorts of questions. The new channel I set up for the scientific Iran side is, for the time being, we keep it as that. We are not opening it outside to see and build and bring in a large number of Iranian scientists onto the table. There's a reason for it. We're taking leadership through science and technology. You'll understand what I mean. I have a beautiful position to create that condition. And this is part of the structure. And that's why we're going to Iran. The head of the Keshe Foundation, we try to bring a balance between all the nations. But sometimes we have to try different things in different nations and see how it goes. And at the moment, because of certain agreements reached, we have to bring the knowledge and technology ahead of everything else in Iran on the panels, or what we call leadership. We will lead through the science and technology. And in that process, we bring the rest of the nations around the world on the table. But give us time. I have an opportunity, very small, narrow window to get this done. And I'll put a lot of time and effort into it to gather as much as possible to change Iran into a center of knowledge with the intelligence and the intellectuals exist. And then we share it with the rest of the world. And this is the way I have informed the head of the Keshe Foundation exactly what's going to happen. And she's fully aware of what is to happen. Both heads of the foundation have been told way to what to expect. And my responsibility is to report or inform the two heads of the foundation what I'm up to, in a way to inform, and that they know what happens and in the future how they will plan their ways of doing things. And this is out of understanding that the foundation in a way already is getting run by the two ladies without many of you knowing, and they will structure it in that way. It's their decision how and the way we will see the developments on education and everything else. And I'll move back into the development and research and where I feel home to bring new technologies, and the benefit of it comes for them to distribute it in the way to see it implemented. I have two beautiful women which head the foundation, and the Vitavis, they're both the same. They work through the soul, and without them understanding it, they're in a way laying the ways for the future of mankind, the way it'll be done. I will not be surprised, not very surprised, that in a very short time we'll see these two ladies, with the two ladies at the White House next to each other. The four most powerful women in the world will run the world together. You will see. I can see that day. Let's see if we can achieve it. And are both capable to be able to carry that, what I call intellect and the power. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your guidance.
Thank you very much indeed. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe, and everyone.